It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a cards and dice game called Xibalba. And even as it says on the board here, their tagline is a cards and dice game set in an inter-apocalyptic diesel punk world. I'm not sure what an inter-apocalyptic or a diesel punk world is, but it basically means that this game has a really messed up setting. It's a weird theme, and it's sort of the approach here is throw everything in there and we're good to go. So, theme's a little strange, but is the game any good? Let's take a look at it, then we'll come on back and I'll tell you what I thought of the whole thing. Here we go. So here's what the game looks like set up for 2 players. The objective of the game is to get to a certain number of Paragon, which is what they call their victory points, on this track right here on your own player board. And you will set that at whatever you want with this black token here. They give you a recommended amount, but you can shorten that if you want a shorter game or have it be a higher target if you would like a longer game. So 2 players, you are going to set your income here, how much basically money you have, your level of upgrade here, Paragon, and the target. And then the 4 decks around the table here with 2 cards available to be bought. Discard will be next to that. So you've got your soldier cards, we've got our civilian cards over here, we've got our structure cards, and then our events right there. And you're ready to begin. You're also going to flip 1 soldier over, set it inside the arc, which is sort of an area that you are attempting to control and get a bunch of Paragon from, is the idea. And then this resistance is set equal to whatever it says, plus 1 per player. So we're going to set that at 6 for right now. And you're ready to begin. The game's going to be played over each round. Each player's round has 4 phases. You are doing an effect phase, a dice phase with these, then an action phase, and then an end of turn. Really just 3 things you need to do. So the first one is the effect phase where certain things are going to trigger, okay? And you are going to get income also equal to whatever your upgrade level is. Right now it's at the very beginning, so it's nothing. Income is right down here at 0. After that comes the dice phase. I'm going to set these Paragon dice aside for now, and we'll take a look at these. These are the attack dice and the income dice. And you're going to create a pool of dice for yourself of 6 dice with whatever combination you want from here. So you can take a balanced pool, 3 and 3. You can go attack heavy with 4 of the attack and 2 of the resource, or you can go heavy resource, 2 attack, which is what I'll do right now. And then you're going to roll these, and you get a 1 roll and then up to 2 re-rolls. So I'm going to roll these. I'm going to keep whatever I want, so I'll keep those. First re-roll, I'll keep those. Second re-roll, and that's it. And now I could utilize these dice. So income is, of course, translating into cash right here. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right there. I started at 2. It puts me at 9. And these are spent. This is blank, so that can also go away. Now I could spend this income to buy these cards. And I'm going to need a soldier pretty soon, otherwise I'm not going to be able to do any attacking. So I'm going to buy one of these bandits. They happen to be the same, so I'll just buy a bandit. It's going to cost me 3. I take it, I put it on top of what they call my war host right here, and we reveal a new card. And I can keep spending my money here during my action phase. I can do whatever I want to. I could buy another one even. This one's 6, and so I still have 6. I could spend that and take this one, and it goes on top of the war host. Or if I could, of course, buy some civilians, some structures, and those are going to go down here across the bottom of my board. I can have up to 4 of them active. If you buy any events, they trigger, they go away, that's it. Now I could use this attack, and the idea, again, is to get Paragon, which is going to come from controlling the arc or killing soldiers, mostly. You can also passively buy these dice, these Paragon dice, and roll them and hope to get some. And these have a couple of blank sides, 2 1s, 2 2s. So, let's say I'm going to attack. This one is being controlled by no one right now. It simply begins filled so that you have to weaken it and then get in the arc. So each attack die is going to represent whatever strength my character is, which in this case is just 1. That's pretty weak. This character is weak. And so this would just be 1. If I bought this instead, put that on top of my war host, then each of these attack dice would be 4, because this is a huge hitter right here. There's also on these dice one face that has that critical hit, which is whatever your base attack is, plus 1, 4, plus 1, 5. All right, but this is what I had, and that's the attacker I have there, the warrior, the soldier. And so 1 hit simply weakens this by 1. That's it. Whenever I take this completely down, I am going to, every time I kill a soldier, I'm going to roll some Paragon dice equal to the Paragon number on my card here. It's always 1 or 2. You're going to get some victory points, possibly, maybe not. And then I replace this spot with my own soldier. I am now in the arc, and at the end of every player's turn, I'm going to roll Paragon dice and try to get some victory points that way until they kick me out. And I will reset this to the strength of the soldier plus 1 per player at the table. All right. So this was at 6, and I weakened it by 1. So this got used. That's it for me. And now it would be my opponent's turn to again begin with their effect phase, in which they're not really going to do anything. There's no income there. Roll dice, figure out what pool of dice they want, and then take actions to ultimately get victory points. Besides everything I've just shown you, there are also some abilities here you can trigger by paying for them. And so depending on the board also, they might have slightly different costs, depending on what character you have. But the idea is you can pay 1 to discard a card from out here and replace it, or sometimes you could discard even one of your own. You typically won't do that. You can pay 3 to rearrange your war host if you want something at the top. You can pay to heal. You can, and that is right here, okay, to kick this up so you can remain in the arc longer. You can pay, in this case, 2 to make a regular hit into a critical hit. You can pay 2 to simply roll a new attack die. Great. And you can pay 4 to try to get that Paragon passively. So I could pay 4, roll that. Great, I got 2. This player would then go to 2. All right, makes sense? That's it. And this is going to continue back and forth. When someone does jump in here, they reset the amount of health, and then they'll point it at themselves just to let every player at the table know, hey, I'm in the arc, I'm controlling it. And when you are in the arc, attacking's a little bit different. So let's jump ahead. Let's say that player there, they roll their dice, they get a good amount of income, they've got this attack, and they buy that, let's say. They attack into the arc. Let's say they completely knock this character out. All right, that's discarded. And then they're going to roll Paragon dice. In this case, this character is so beefy, they only get 1 Paragon die, so they'll roll nothing. And they jump in here, reset their health, which is, I think, 7. Right, 7, because it's the resistance, which is 5 plus 1 per player, so 7. It's facing them. They are going to, at the end of their own turn, also re-roll another one of these. Still nothing. And now it's back to me. And I would, again, try to weaken them. However, when it's their turn and they're attacking from inside the arc, the attack is slightly different. They're attacking my base. And they are going to roll. Let's say that they do whatever. Let's say they do that. And let's say they end up with that and some cash and whatever. So they spend some of this. They get 2 again. These are out of here. They're attacking my base. They are going to, my base has a built-in defense, which at the beginning, this one happens to be 3, but as I pay, I can increase that as well as increase my income from turn to turn. Very useful, kind of pricey. They're attacking with this. They can combine these attacks, or they can attack one at a time in case they wanted to attack different people. But let's say they're doing that. Their attack is 4, so that's 4. This is another 4 plus 1, so that's a total of 9. They would take a look at my defense, which is only 3. So they're going to split these attacks up. They're going to attack with that first. They're attacking, as I said, my base. And let's say I've already got some Paragon here from before. I have we first check their strength, which in this case is 4, against my defense. They win. I have a 3, they have a 4. They are going to, if I don't jump in the way with a soldier, they are going to destroy something sitting out here, assuming I had, I don't know, a secret base, let's say. And then they are going to loot Paragon from me by rolling the number of dice they would roll for Paragon and stealing it directly from me, giving it to them. If I let that happen, because their strength was bigger than my defense, that's everything that goes down. If I don't like that, then I can throw a soldier in the way, which blocks whether this soldier dies or not. This soldier's defense is 2. It will die, but I don't get destroyed nor looted. So you might want to do that. If I don't jump in the way, they take this out, discard it, roll. Let's say they actually rolled something this time. 2, I lose 2, they gain 2. That's it. That's how attacking someone's base works. Now, of course, all these rules I'm explaining are going to be twisted a little bit by these things out here, right? Having buildings like the archives here that say they cannot be destroyed by attacks on your base, and that every time one of your structures is destroyed, you may immediately spend 1 resource and put it underneath your archive, which is this. You also have the action cards. Like this one here, the weapon supply says that you immediately gain 1 attack symbol. You pay 2, get 1 attack. Done. This one over here, which is explosive ammo, says you pay 2, and it says your soldiers gain +1 power until the end of your turn. And so that this attack would make this character 5. With this one, it would be a 6. Soldiers, of course, have their own special powers, and then civilians give you some sort of power as well, as the Saboteur here says it negates the effect of 1 enemy structure until your next effect phase. So, those are the kind of things you're going to be looking at. Rolling dice, create your pool, attacking the opponent, take them down to roll Paragon, buy Paragon, manipulate your dice, control the arc, and at the end of every round, roll Paragon until someone gets to the required amount, and then they win the game. I'm going to stop saying the word Paragon now. Let's go back up top. Let me give you some final thoughts. All right, so there we go. I'm going to dive right into this one. I'm going to start with the negatives for me. And before I do that, actually, I do want to say I think the game's all right. I enjoyed it. It didn't blow my hair back, but I also did not dislike it. It's a fine game. The negatives are, for me, I don't like the look of the cover. I think it's messy. It's lots of browns and kind of it's got a fuzzy look to it. It's not particularly attractive. The card design is well done. I like the iconography. I like the layout. But the artwork on those is also pretty bland. I find the gameplay to be interesting, but very lucky. A very swingy game. You are rolling dice for everything, and then cards and dice compound that luck factor. You can have people who roll you can roll the Paragon dice 5 times in a row and get 2 points out of it, and I can roll 2 Paragon dice once and get 4 points. So very random there. There's also the dice having a lot of blank faces. I know it's going to bother some people. I found it to be fine. It didn't bother me very much. But I did play with several people that found it to be annoying to roll and get nothing. No backup, not a little, this isn't what I was going for, but it's something. No, it's just simply blank faces. So there's that as well. The other thing is that the box, as you can see, it's a standard large square box, comes largely empty. This is the inside. This is everything right here. I can almost hold all the components in my hand, so the box, as you can see, it's pretty much empty. It did not need to be this big. Having said all of those things, gameplay, while a little perhaps obtuse and a little hard to grasp at first, all the little steps, and the language is a little obtuse, all of those things, the war host and the arc and the Paragon and the this and that. The gameplay is interesting and it is engaging, and if you're okay going into it knowing that, hey, this is going to be pretty lucky, it's going to be swingy, but you're just grabbing some fighters and chucking dice and hoping to smack other people around, if you can get into that and not worry about the luck too much, then you're going to enjoy it. The things I like are the sliding game length, the ability to pick when the game ends, and I like the mechanisms, which are very similar to King of Tokyo, right? I mean, this game, it's hard to avoid that comparison. The King of Tokyo vibe is present here. This is more complex than that. There are more steps, there are more keywords, there is more happening, but it's not more strategic. It's very random as well. And so ultimately, I think if those two games went head-to-head, King of Tokyo is a better game. But this is also interesting. And it's the theme, the bizarro diesel punk, whatever that is, theme. while sort of, scatterbrained, is cool and in a bizarre way captivating a little bit. So I do like it. I wish the artwork was a little better, but I do like the weird theme. The cards, there seem to be a lot of cards, but every single card is pretty much in there 4 times, so there's a fair amount of repetition as well. I guess I'm swinging between my positives and my negatives here. But anyway, I think the fact that I am swinging between my positives and negatives sort of leads you to believe, correctly so, that I find this game to be somewhere in the middle for me. It's not great. It's not a game I'm going to pull off the shelf all the time, but it's also not awful. I enjoyed my plays of it. I think it's one that, especially since you can adjust how long you want to play for your session, is easy to bring out and sit down and play. Teaching will get much easier as you play a few more times, so that problem goes away. And ultimately, I would recommend it if the theme is really singing to you, or if you just love this idea of chucking dice and slapping the other people around. This game, I think, is going to give that to you. And if you already have maybe a King of Tokyo and you've worn that out, then maybe this is the one to get now. So Xibalba, for me, not bad, not great, but one I enjoyed, one I think going to hang on to at least for a little bit and play a few more times.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.